2 years ago, Sony and Sucker Punch launched their take on comic book origin stories with Infamous, which put players in the electrified shoes of the superpowered Cole McGrath. Now that Cole has grown into his role, does this latest adventure pack the same megawatt punch? Or has it lost its charge?
Whoa! Password for the clubhouse?
Yeah, don't shoot my ass.
Don't shoot my ass.
Entrez-vous!
Infamous 2 picks up as Cole follows a lead to the Louisiana city of New Marais, when he realizes his current powers aren't enough to deal with the destructive creature simply known as the Beast. You're constantly reminded that the Beast is coming as it burns its way down the East Coast, but New Marais is fraught with its own perils, including flooded neighborhoods, vicious swamp monsters, and an overzealous militia. Choices between good or evil are bolstered by Cole's new female allies, Nyx and Quo, serving as the devil and angel on Cole's shoulders and aiding him with powers of fire and ice. The two offer dramatically different solutions to Cole's dilemmas, but their personalities aren't as binary since Quo is often belittling and it's easy to empathize with Nyx's motives. The villainous militia leader Bertrand takes center stage, and he's fiercely opposed to Cole's presence, drawing a racial divide between conduits and humanity, recalling similar conflicts in the X-Men stories. We can't show you the unforgettable opening and closing chapters, but look forward to big set pieces and big revelations that leave a profound impact.
I got nothing to say to you, freak.
I need to think this through. You guys be ready to act!
Think what? Cole!
Like Empire City before it, New Marais is isolated from the mainland, consisting of 2 islands split into 4 main areas surrounded by gulf and bayou. You can explore the city however you choose, but since many of Cole's powers rely on draining electricity, powered down areas of the map leave you vulnerable and are often swarming with tough enemies. Instead of venturing into the sewers to reactivate the grid, you'll now guide Tesla missiles to a series of generators, defending each one in turn.
Hallelujah!
With its sandbox-style gameplay, you can continue the story whenever you choose. Completing story missions often results in several new side quests appearing on your map, and finishing side missions secures a block of territory, resulting in fewer random enemies in that part of town. Some quests certainly fall into templates, like searching for hidden packages, tracking down convoys, and zipping through race-like overcharge events, but there's enough variety to keep them from getting stale, as well as plenty of unique events like fighting off a squad disguised as street performers. Many of the side quests fall into the game's morality system, giving you a choice between good or evil missions in an area. Morality choices also play a much bigger role in story quests, offering 2 significantly different approaches to a dilemma. For instance, you can get a group of rebels to join your side by helping Quo deliver an ambulance full of medical supplies, or you can have Nyx disguise herself as a militia member, shooting up the town while you pretend to come in and save the day.
Karma's a bitch. I get it.
In addition to quests, you'll want to keep an eye out for collectible blast shards that increase your energy reserves, as well as carrier pigeons with audio files that provide additional story development.
Gotcha!
Random events provide good or evil karma opportunities, giving you a chance to rescue hostages or silence street performers. Civilians carrying blast shards offer temptation for players on the good side, but dealing with the constant muggings does grow tiresome.
Let's do this.
By far, the biggest addition to Infamous 2 is user-generated content, providing players with mission creation tools that approach the depth of Little Big Planet. Sorting through some of the developers' creations shows just how much freedom the tools offer in the right hands. There are races, games of skee-ball, rides on magic flying pallets, rogue disco balls, and even a clever platformer with a propane tank that moves in tandem with Cole. You can even make story-based missions with cutscenes and moral choices, limiting Cole's powers in specific situations. Learning how to create a level, however, can take a bit of work. The closest thing to a tutorial is a set of templates with tooltips briefly explaining what each network of circuits does. Starting off, the best thing is to simply start moving objects around and inserting additional elements. But if you want to start from scratch, determining how each logic circuit works and how to piece it all together takes quite a bit of study. Still, the depth of what's available can't be denied, as you can create numerous groups with different properties, edit animations, set AI profiles, change physics, and so on. You can also edit anyone else's creations to learn how they do things, or simply make soldiers vomit instead of dance. User-generated levels appear in the world just like any other quest, and there are a number of filters to determine what types of levels you want to show. Unfortunately, there's no filter or search that lets you easily see friends' levels, and remixing a level can result in 2 start points positioned in the same physical space. Despite these niggling issues, User Creations add a stream of content that's unlike anything found in the story. When you also consider the strong incentive to play through both the good and evil paths, it's safe to say that Infamous 2 will keep you coming back for quite some time.
Textbook Hearts and Minds campaign. We give them something they really need.
Yeah, like my foot up their ass?
Infamous 2's gameplay is a mix of parkour and third-person shooting powered by a host of electrical projectiles. While previews indicated Cole's powers wouldn't be reset, you don't start with a full arsenal. Basics like grenades, rail grinding, and static thrusters are there from the start, but it's quite some time before you regain Cole's rocket and sniper abilities. In spite of this, there's much more variation to the powers than before. Even Cole's standard bolt can be switched out for more powerful magnum shots or a rapid-fire bolt stream via a quick swap menu. Unlocking powers is tied to story progression and experience, but you'll also need to pull off a series of stunts like getting headshots or blasting guys off the tops of buildings, teaching you to play with style. Your karma rating also plays a role, allowing Hero Cole to throw clusters of grenades, while Infamous Cole gets exploding headshots. Depending on which path you choose, fire or ice abilities are also added to the mix midway through the game.
Give her a try.
There's an increased emphasis on melee combat thanks to the new AMP tool, which is essentially a large tuning fork, but close quarters combat is still best saved for monsters. You don't want to run headfirst into a gunfight. You'll also have to contend with larger opponents ranging from militia helicopters and fast-moving ice soldiers to monsters the size of buildings, each requiring you to nimbly dodge and counterattack.
Hello, baby.
The cherry on top is Cole's new set of ionic powers, allowing you to unleash tornadoes, blasting enemies with ice fields, or drain the life out of everyone nearby. You'll need these abilities to clear out large groups of enemies, but if you're on the hero path, you'll have to be careful not to hit civilians who often get in the way in their efforts to help. Climbing still entails a bit of awkwardly mashing the X button to kick your way up the sides of buildings, but a lot of focus has been put on making traversal faster and easier. Similar to grinding on power lines, there are electric rails to zip you skyward. Your static thrusters get a boost, there are several powers to launch you off the ground, and late in the game you get the lightning tether, which lets you grapple to rooftops from a distance.
Nice day for a skinny dip.
Ooh. Go right ahead. I'm not stopping you.
There's no mistake the new Marais draws greatly from New Orleans, with muddy bayous, flooded neighborhoods, and a weathered fort. The lively red light district references a number of games in its dirty movie titles, and there's a nod to the competition with the conspicuous electronic shop. Motion comics still illustrate Cole's story, but in-engine cutscenes are more frequent, with improved facial animation.
I think you're crazy.
As in any open-world game, you can find anomalies like disappearing cars or breakdancing washing machines. However, there's an impressive amount of carnage and destruction in crowded streets, with exploding vehicles and shattering balconies. The soundtrack echoes the heartbeat of the city, thrumming with urban percussion and haunting strings that rise and fall to complement the game's rhythm. Infamous 2 excels with a varied open world bookended by monumental set-piece battles. The inclusion of user-generated content constitutes almost as a game unto itself, and while the morality system isn't one that calls for tough decision-making, it pushes even further to provide two dramatically different gameplay experiences.
It is official.